Toei, I think you should sleep on this decision. Hey guys, MasakoX here. Now Toei has been making rather questionable decisions about its show Dragonball Super as of late. Oh, who am I kidding? Throughout pretty much the entire production. We've seen them recycle 2 movie plots into their own arcs on TV, rather poorly, cheap out on animation, rather poorly, and then tried to tie up all the loose ends of the Future Trunks arc. Very poorly. Oh yeah, and all the clickbaity previews that they've been doing over the last 90 or so episodes. They've had their fair share of criticism, and actually it's quite well deserved, but I don't want to get into that right now. We've got something else to discuss. Now I know I'm not the first person to bring this up, but the whole gag about Majin Buu falling asleep is a really tired one, and not even all that funny. This all came to a head for me when I started reading the Super manga in print. Finally. Yeah, I've been holding off the digital releases, so that means I can actually enjoy the experience physically. When I read this entire volume, I noticed very big differences between the manga and the anime. One in particular concerning Majin Buu, which got me thinking, what is Toei doing with this character? Well, the short answer is not really a lot, and the long answer is I haven't the faintest clue. So what's the point of retaining this character if you're not really gonna do anything with them? Oh, but Masako! He's Mr. Satan's best friend, so that makes him the comedy relief. He's there for the yucks. Easy as that. You can calm down now, mate. Well, okay, yeah, that is fair enough. And if Toei were just to commit to that, then I would be okay with it. I mean, it worked perfectly in the post-Buu arc of Dragon Ball Z, him being the comedy relief and just being there for the funnies, but they haven't stuck to that. Our heroes have been fighting Majin Buu in various guises, and at the end of the day, we managed to get a reincarnation of Buu as sorts, well actually 2 if you think about it, and one of them was good, the innocent Buu that we know here, and he was able to stick around. That's cool. Also, it helped to actually have some funny moments in the middle of the arc when things are pretty tense, and stuff right at the end, so that means we can come down from our highs. Nowadays though, Toei doesn't seem to have the faintest idea what to do with this character. Do they want to actually make him a relevant fighting character? Do they just want him to be the comedy relief character more? They just don't seem to know what to do. I'm beginning to sense a pattern here about Toei not knowing how to handle important characters. I'm looking at you, Gohan, and Piccolo, and Goku to a lesser extent. In fact, actually, it's been the minor characters that have benefited from Toei's new writing style. But that's for another video. We're focusing on Majin Buu and what the hell is going wrong with him? So I think the biggest elephant in the room right now is all the antics of the end of episode 91 and episode 92, confirming various spoilers that have been circling around the community for weeks. Once again, Majin Buu has been the victim of supernatural narcolepsy. He's got to sleep for 2 months, right before the tournament. The reaction across the internet was absolute dismay. What? Again? And this wasn't the first time that Toei pulled this trick on us. Remember back in the Universe 6 arc, when Majin Buu fell asleep while taking the test to try and get into the tournament in the first place? Yeah, that was funny, wasn't it? We had seen all the press images for that arc, and we saw Majin Buu standing proud with the other main characters, so we were thinking, great, Majin Buu can do some fighting, excellent. Then we get to the actual arc and we get nothing. Great. So going back to the manga, Toyotaro's interpretations of events are far more convincing, with Majin Buu failing the test. I don't imagine Majin Buu being the smartest of individuals, so I can believe him not getting enough points to then go on into the actual fighting. I mean, if Goku barely passed, then Majin Buu must have flunked it majorly. That's more convincing. That keeps me in the story instead of criticizing it. Learn, Toei, learn! Just a few weeks ago, when Buu was in the exhibition match, he fell asleep before he was fighting with Basil, one of the Trio de Danger. It took Satan's quick thinking and seemingly unlimited supply of chocolate to get Buu to wake up. You see, this is a reason why Mr. Satan is our savior. We should have known that Toei was going to pull this trick again. Once Buu was on it though, he was dominating that fight, and we're actually getting to see a lot of his fighting skill and techniques and prowess, and you just think, wow, he's still got it. It was wonderful to see, and all the way up until episode 91 and the rumors started leaking, everything was coming up Buu. But we have to remember though, Buu falling asleep is not a Super-only trope. This has happened before a couple of times in Z. Super Buu and Kid Buu fell asleep during their fights, leaving them vulnerable to attack. But honestly though, the power gap between them and the Z fighters was quite wide, so them getting attacked was not very likely. And also, they only had to sleep for a few seconds, and after those few seconds, they came back substantially revived, ready to attack once more. It was like they got a full 8 hours sleep in a nice comfy bed. So if various forms of Majin Buu can then be fully revived within just a few seconds quite easily, why is it taking Buu a couple of months to do the same thing? Well, it just is. And Mr. Satan's discourse with the others when he's talking about Buu's 2-month sleep is actually implying that it's not something that's new. Satan doesn't seem all that surprised because this is nothing new, it happens all the time, so it seems, over the last few years. Well, your initial thinking to that might be along the lines of, oh, it's okay, we can stick him in the room of spirit and time, then by the time he comes out, he'll be awake again. True. When you make the calculations, in terms of the time differential between reality and the reality within inside the time chamber, 2 months there equals 4 hours here. How much time do we have left by the time we get to episode 91? 4 hours and 10 minutes. You could just about make that work. Nope! Vegeta blew it up again in episode 92. Man, it seems like the only thing that's keeping Super from abusing that room is making sure that Vegeta blows it up. So he can just wreck it for everybody. Thanks, Vegeta. Despite Vegeta's recklessness and Satan's assurances about Buu's sleeping patterns, we can't be sure about exactly why Buu needs to sleep for so long when he can actually just sleep for a few seconds. Well, I might have an explanation for you, courtesy of Toriyama. In an interview he did with Saikyo Jump back in 2014, Toriyama explains the intricacies about how Buu was summoned, as well as what makes him tick, in this following quote. Kaioshin said that Bibidi made him. The truth is that one called Buu was not actually created by Bibidi, but has existed since time immemorial. He cycled between rampages and long hibernation. During numerous iterations of this cycle, he absorbed the evil elements of mankind, becoming steadily more violent. Bibidi merely knew the means of calling Buu from out of his long slumber. Since the current Buu is a slightly different life form due to the changes brought about when the evil Buu was expelled, it's not known whether he'll still go into long hibernation. So maybe this hibernation could be the long one. Buu as we know him now is a very different beast to the Buu that we saw in the actual saga, and when he split off, that was the true Buu. There is a reason why he is usually referred to as Innocent Buu. Although he's innocent, it doesn't necessarily mean that he's selfless, because he's pretty greedy with them candies. Still though, he is not tainted with the evil traits that possessed Buu many millions of years ago. So we could be experiencing unknown territory when it comes to Buu's sleep cycles. Sure, Satan might be right. It may just be a 2-month jaunt of sleeping, so nothing more complicated than that then. One thing's for sure though, nothing is going to wake Buu up for the moment. Must be a relief for Satan's catering team at least. But that is only if Universe 7 wins, of course. Otherwise, the only thing that will be served to Buu is death. Another thing you might wish to consider is that this whole thing might not be Toei's fault, Buu sleeping constantly. Toriyama might have something to do with it. He is well known for giving up on characters when he's run out of ideas for them, or he just plain doesn't like them, or is bored. As far as he might be concerned, Majin Buu's character arc ended when Goku slapped a spirit bomb in his face. After that, it's all been pretty laid back for the Majin. There is context as well as previous going on, as this following quote states. So before the Buu story arc began, I said, once this next thing wraps up, I want to end it no matter what. Because I thought there was no way for any stronger guys to pop up, or for Goku to get any stronger than he already was. So my starting point for the Buu arc was, this is the end, so I'm going to draw whatever I want. I always liked dumb gags, so I made things comical, with the Great Saiyaman and Gotenks and whatnot. It wasn't until immediately before the final chapter that I thought up the ending. I needed something that would signal this truly was the end, so I jumped forward 10 years. But I didn't count on the series continuing in anime form, so I bet it was really rough on everyone over at the anime company. Once the arc ended, Toriyama was free to do whatever he wanted, anything that didn't have to do with Dragon Ball. It wasn't his problem anymore to think about the characters or what could happen after Z, he didn't care. To him, all the characters could become Super Saiyans and have infinite power levels and he wouldn't really bat an eyelid. I can imagine that this made GT a headache for the Toei writing staff, and maybe, quite possibly, the early development of Super. So maybe the reason why Majin Buu isn't taking part in the tournament after all is because Toei, Toyotaro, Toriyama, they're all actually just out of ideas for the character. They can't think of anything new for the chubby Majin to do when the actual tournament begins. But that I don't fully buy though, is because in episode 85 of Dragon Ball Super, Buu was shown to actually use really ingenious techniques to get the one-up over Goku. We saw Majin Buu fit, mean, lean, and all-powerful. That was a Buu who was at the top of his game. We thought he was unstoppable. This was great for his fans. We thought he was done. He's now not. Or at least he wasn't. Maybe they blew all their ideas during that episode. So now what? What else can we do with the character? Oh darn. Okay. You can fall asleep. We did see Majin Buu looking tired after his sparring match with Goku, so we should have read the signs. We were just too amazed by his prowess and fighting physique to notice. In my opinion, this narrative ploy has been received very negatively. We were all disappointed when this happened back in the Universe 6 arc, and we're even more disappointed that it's happened now. Again. Not only are we seeing history repeating itself, it's repeating itself at the worst possible time, at one of Dragon Ball Super's most important points. And don't think I didn't hear that snippet in the preview for episode 92 and the actual episode about Krillin 18 quitting. I did hear it, and it bothered me. Thankfully, in the subsequent episode, nothing came of it. It was just a flight of fancy, but at the time, it got me annoyed. And really, honestly, it wasn't gonna happen. Knowing Toei, it would have happened weeks ago. We would have found out then, and it would have been spoiled for us like pretty much everything. In any case, the original lineup for the Universe Survival Arc team was a good one. Yeah, it could have had some alternative picks, but on the whole, it was a solid unit. I was okay with it. But no. What we got was a bait and switch. For those of you avoiding spoilers, I won't mention anything more, but we know it's there. It was an unnecessary move using a gag that was really tired and now cannot be countered due to the fact that Vegeta blew up the Room of Spirit and Time. We, as an audience, were getting so excited to see all our characters duking it out with everyone from an unknown universe and realities and stuff like that. It was going to be great. We had Majin Buu in there, rising up to the occasion. That was great. We were so looking forward to it, but then no, it was completely snatched from between our fingers. Now all that prospect has been thrown into doubt. Hell, are the Dragon Balls still available on Earth? Maybe on Namek? Why don't we just summon the dragon to bring Buu back to a waking consciousness? But no, that's not gonna happen with Toei. They don't want that to happen, because quite clearly, they have their own agenda. It's really grinding my gears something awful. It's yet another of what I like to call Toei's follies. And I imagine that this won't be the last time that I'm talking about one of these during Super's run. So what do you guys think? Do you think this was a cheap ploy for viewership on Toei's part? Do you think Buu can wake up at all, and how would you do it? Leave a comment below, and let's get this discussion going. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Until the next one, be sure to like and subscribe. Catch you later!